The shooting at Denver's East High did expose serious safety problems all across the district. That includes questionable policies when it comes to students who commit crimes. The student who shot and wounded two deans was on a safety plan. He was considered a threat and staff had to search him daily. It was during one of those searches that he pulled a gun and opened fire. While Denver School Board is under fire, we wondered how things were going on in other places. We've obtained new data showing just how many students have been deemed a threat in several major school districts across the metro area. Our investigator Katie Weiss is at Grandview High School in Southeast Aurora with this exclusive report tonight. So Katie, what did you find?
Well, Karen, from up north in Boulder to out west in Jeffco to down south here in Arapahoe County, we found there are hundreds of students that are deemed threatening across all sorts of classrooms in the Denver metro area. And I spoke with one Grandview High School student here who tells me the numbers that we found are both surprising and scary.
It just makes you think, like, is it worth getting an education in a public space, or should you just go to online school, honestly?
Emiliana Proch is a senior at Grandview High School. One of her final papers this year was about school shootings and safety solutions.
There has been more school shootings than days this year. That's upsetting to hear.
Following a shooting at Denver's East High School in March, when a student who had been deemed a threat shot two deans while they were conducting a pat-down search on him, we wanted to know how many students were found to be a threat across the district. This year, 361 students in Denver public schools were assessed for threats, and 68 of those students were deemed a high threat level. We found while Denver public schools has the highest rate of threats among the districts we surveyed, some of the other districts aren't too far behind. In Jeffco schools, 221 students were assessed for threats, and 43 were categorized as having a proactive attack behavior, a similar classification for a high threat level. In Adams 12, we found there were 65 students assessed for threats this year, and only 10 were a high level of concern. In Aurora Public Schools, 107 were assessed for threats, but the district would not tell us the levels those threats were classified. Same in Boulder Valley Schools, where there were 56 students assessed for threats this school year. And in Cherry Creek schools, school officials conducted 162 threat assessments on students this year. 27 of those assessments reported a high-level threat.
When you hear that, what's your initial reaction?
It's not safe. It takes one student to have a mass incident. It takes one time for there to be a mistake, and then 20 kids are dead.
All of the school districts mentioned in this story previously created this threat assessment guide, which says the response for each student can vary depending on the circumstances, including conducting searches, reviewing classwork, involving law enforcement, providing mental health supports, or suspension or expulsion. But the guide says expulsion doesn't necessarily remove the threat, as expulsions can make students feel more angry and likely to go back to commit an attack.
I think if you are up to that level where you're so high of a threat that you're in that category, you should not be allowed into any public school.
As for long-term solutions to improve school safety, Emiliana feels collaboration is key, including with the students facing these threats from their peers every day.
It's an active issue that the government, legislation, the public, and kids need to solve. It's not just one group or the other, it's everyone.
Now, for this story, we reached out to the 10 largest school districts in the state. You heard from those in the story, but the St. Vrain Valley, Poudre, Douglas County, and Academy District 20 in Colorado Springs all refused to provide their threat assessment numbers for this story. Now, experts tell us that this information is public record, and we will continue to press for it. Reporting live in Southeast Aurora, I'm Katie Weiss, covering Colorado First.
Katie, thank you. And Katie not only covers investigative news stories in Arapahoe County, she also lives there. So she is your reporter for Arapahoe County, so send her a news tip anytime.